Then I thought, who gives a damn if all the jobs are gone? I'm gonna be a pirate on the river Saskatchewan. 'Cause it's a heave-ho, hi-ho, coming down the plains, stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Roses Are Reddit, the official Reddit Bachelor podcast. I am your quality host, and with me tonight are our special guests, Queen Overthrown, J-Rock Giraffe, and Lyndsey Gavin. Say hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
So today is an extra special Canadian episode for our friends up north.
Fuck yeah.
Eh.
Don't you know there, eh, bud?
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about Canada and all the great things about Canada.
Maple syrup, yay.
So, Lyndsey is, for those of for the uninitiated, Lyndsey was one of the finalists on The Bachelor Canada.
Yeah.
It
Right.
was. Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Thanks.
And
And
J-Rock
she's a
Giraffe,
total badass.
She is a badass.
Thanks,
I
guys.
admit I haven't watched it, but I can already tell. I like it. Okay.
I saw the clip of the final
Ooh,
where
that's the
she
most
says
important.
I don't choose you.
Ooh, I love that.
I know, that was dope. That's
No,
dope,
have you
dude.
seen the GIF?
Oh my
Lindsay?
I saw,
Pardon
saw
me?
Do you have that GIF? You need to just like save it in your back pocket for whenever
Oh, for sure.
someone.
It's a great
Whenever I need
GIF,
like
eh?
a
Oh
little
my God.
dose of confidence, just watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's gonna be sick of our Canadian jokes by the end
Oh,
of this.
for sure. For
Okay.
sure.
Anyways.
So we got a lot of questions for Lyndsey. And then we have some just random shit that we're just gonna throw in at the end because why the fuck not?
Yeah.
But let's get started. So, Lyndsey, first question for you was what made you apply for The Bachelor Canada?
I mean, honestly speaking, I applied for an adventure. I was single at the time. I was like, why the fuck not? You get free travel, you get to meet cool girls, you get free booze, you maybe meet a cool guy. So I was like, why not? And it sounded like a cool thing to do. So there was pardon me?
Oh, I was saying kind of just at that place in your life where you're like, why not have a little fun? Do something
Totally.
different?
Yeah, and like the thing was going on in Vancouver, and I was free that day, and I was like, might as well just go down, and went down. And I think the fact that I didn't really give a shit whether or not I was chosen made it like better, because they were like, okay, you don't give a fuck, so let's get you on the show. It's gonna be funny.
That's great.
That's amazing. I'm not gonna lie, we've seriously considered, like, we don't want to be on the show, but they've held like casting calls near us and just kind of wanted to go to see like what the casting call process is all about, you know? It just seems so interesting.
Totally, you should do it if it's in your area. Do it. It's a good little interview process too. You kind of have to like think about actual things about yourself, and they catch you off guard, and it's a good little process.
I'm a little biased, but I don't think I want QO audition for The Bachelor.
Just for
Yeah, as a
funsies.
couple audition.
just hey guys, we're here.
We're dating.
Be the couple.
But
guys.
pick us. Great drama.
You guys should do it as a couple. Just like, okay, we're a package deal.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Sister wife.
Immediately they'd be like,
God.
please leave.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious. So, what surprised you most about the experience?
Oh gosh. I think like I was so expecting not to get involved in the whole like love thing. But that caught me really off guard. I don't feel like I fall in love easily, and through the process you really don't spend that much time with the guy, and the guy being Chris. But it really caught me off guard that you do start catching feelings super soon, and like that the whole thing, it's really real. So that caught me off. That definitely caught me off guard. I thought I was gonna be able to kind of bypass that and just kind of like fake my way through it, and I was like, nope, it's real.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about the show? What do you think about the show made you fall in love quicker than you would imagined? Because I think because it's like it. I think a lot of people, or at least none of the contestants we've talked to, had said like they'd gotten that far. So this is, I think you're the first person that we've ever talked to who's made it to the final too. It's like, what about the show kind of does the things that make you like fall in love?
And if I could say really quick before you answer, my guess is like you're put in this kind of whirlwind fantasy situation and you're immediately thought of as kind of already having a relationship with this person. Like it's not a normal date type of thing. Like you need to jump in really fast and figure everything out. But anyways, I'll go ahead and let you.
Totally. That's totally an aspect of it. I think for me personally, like you meet people in different ways every day. Like it could be at the coffee shop, it could be at a bar, it could be on Tinder or wherever. But in this certain aspect, you kind of sign up for this thing being like, okay, I'm looking for a relationship. And you're both in this situation and you know that when you're having a date with a person, you're both in this looking for what you're supposed to be looking for as a person to marry. So when you have that first date, like we had the very first one-on-one, we're both kind of sitting there looking at each other like, okay, like, do we like each other? Yeah, kind of, like this is a thing. And then when you start talking to each other, like, okay, I actually really like you. And then I feel like everything kind of goes faster than real life because A, you're on TV and B, you've signed up for the show that is all about falling in love. So there's like the preconceived idea that you're going to fall in love. And then it just kind of happens. I mean, I don't know. I feel so silly saying that because
I think I understand because you're in this bubble, right?
You are totally in a bubble, but it does happen. And I feel like I feel so silly saying, yeah, you fall in love because you're in a bubble, but like it can happen anywhere. And I've fallen in love quickly before. And it happens, like, you know, when you click with someone, it can just happen and you have this crush on them and then all of a sudden it goes from more than a crush. But in this bubble, you don't have any access to the outside world. So everything I feel like kind of happens faster. All you have is this other person. Of course you have the women in the house as well. But for me, like Chris was kind of like the only real part of it for a lot of it. And every time I saw him, I was like, okay, this is real. The conversations are real. And then having conversation with him off camera too were the kind of things that kept me sane, if that makes any sense. Yeah, makes sense. But he was kind of like, yeah, it was an interesting aspect of it because I felt like sometimes the things that happened on camera and the things I saw on camera weren't as meaningful as the things that happened off camera.
Yeah, and we've talked with other contestants, and it's surprising, even though you kind of think, of course, there's stuff that doesn't happen on camera, it's just surprising to hear about all of the things that don't happen on camera and like all these cute little situations that build on a relationship.
Totally, yeah.
So I think we kind of forget that just watching the show. So,
and it's such a weird thing too, but when you're in that situation, there's, 15 other girls at this point, you look for the tiniest signs. Like when we're in rose ceremonies, you're looking at him and you're like, okay, who is he looking at? I'm like, okay, is he catching eyes with me? Like when he says certain words, who is he looking at? And it literally sounds insane. But when he would be like, I am falling in love with someone, I felt like he would be like looking at me. And I'm like, dude, I get you. I feel ya. Like, I'm falling in love with you too. Which is, it's so weird. But like, there's little things like that happen in the show, which they don't happen in real life. Like, you're not like looking at the guy being like, hey, you're falling in love with 15 other girls and I'm living with them. Who are you looking at when you say that?
Yeah, well, because when would you ever be in that situation? So yes.
Never again.
It's kind of like an offshoot to that question. Or do you feel like normally you're the kind of person who like reads into those little things? Is it just, or do you just kind of like, go off like this person tells me this thing, so that's what I believe, and not like, oh, like he like turned his glass in a certain way so that he obviously likes me?
I'm sorry, the first part of that totally cut off.
Oh, so do you feel like normally when you're dating outside of the Bachelor world, do you feel like you're the kind of person who kind of reads into those small gestures, or was that something that you kind of cultivated specifically for the show?
That was definitely a specific for the show. I don't usually read into little signs like that, but I feel like for the show it was hard not to, because you're in a situation where you only get a very limited amount of time with this person. So you're looking at them for signs in every moment with them. So you're looking at signs when you're with groups, and you're looking for signs when you're alone. And he was really good at that, I think, with me. Like, he made me feel like I knew exactly what was going on for the most part.
That's good.
Yeah.
You came off very authentic. Like, I know everybody says that, but on screen, I felt like I could definitely relate with you. You're a real person.
Oh, thanks.
No, we're
That's
talking
so
to
nice.
a robot right now, actually. Just as a heads up for all of you viewers at home.
And then I guess when you pulled out your ukulele for the first time, I had this moment like, oh, because you never know how that's going to go. But
you're like, oh, shit, please don't sing.
But it was very good. How long have you been playing ukulele?
Oh, thanks. I have been playing for 2 years now. It's really just a little hobby, and like at that point, you have nothing. Like, they take away everything that you can express yourself with. So like journals and family and phones and whatever. And at the end, they're like, "Hey, if we give you a ukulele, will you like write a song or fuck yeah, like, give me the uke."
You're like, anything, please.
Please. Yeah, exactly. So they gave it to me, and like I was so into him at that point, and I had so much to say and so much to sing, and I was just like, give me the uke, it'll come. I wrote that song in like a matter of minutes, but yeah, it was fun. I'm glad it came out okay, because
it was super sweet. But anytime something like that happens, like someone's gonna write a poem or a song, you're just like,
you cringe. Yeah, for sure.
It could have been so like some of the stuff that people write on these shows are just genuinely terrible. So it was like, it was good that it was good.
It was good.
It was okay. I mean, have you listened to the words? It's pretty fucking cheesy.
That's okay. The situation calls for it, right?
I'm somewhat considering.
Also, it's a pretty cheesy show.
Yeah, considering we watch The Bachelor exclusively, like, you have to figure that we're into the cheese.
Come for the cheese.
Oh, I mean, I love it. You guys are pumping me up. I love it. You can make fun of me a little bit, though. It's warranted.
So how long have you been playing for?
Not long. September of 2 years ago.
Oh,
it's super. Anyone that's thinking about a ukulele, get one. It is so easy. You can learn 4 chords in a matter of like 2 hours, and then you can play like 80% of the songs on the internet. So
I mean,
it looks impressive, but I promise you, it's not.
That's most pop songs, though. The whole 4 chord thing. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
So
like A, C, G, and E. Or I don't know what the chords are.
There's an Australian band that does this song called the 4 chord song. Maybe Quick Drive might know it. It's called Axis of Awesome. They have this song. It's like they play all the pop songs. They play the 4 chords and then they sing the different lyrics over it. It's pretty great. You should definitely give that a listen.
I will definitely do that. I will do a cover just for a song.
Oh, please.
Perfect. I mean, I did stalk your Instagram a little bit before, and I saw some of your ukulele and singing, so it was good. I'm ready for this.
So I have one more ukulele. I have one more ukulele related question.
Okay,
and that's,
I'm ready.
How many times?
Star of the podcast.
Oh, yeah, the real star here is Lyndsey's uke. Lyndsey's uke, eh?
Oh my god. Okay, sorry to interrupt.
Don't you know the uke?
How many times have you been asked to play Somewhere Over the Rainbow?
Honestly, okay, I saw not many. I saw that on the question list, and I was like, huh. Yeah. Maybe twice.
That's the ukulele song. Like whenever someone's like.
That said, I feel like I should do a cover of that song because it's such a good song.
There you go.
You got to channel your inner Samoan, I think, or Hawaiian.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Is that big guy that does?
Yeah, Israel Kamakawiki Ole. That's his full name.
Very impressed that you know that.
Yeah, I do.
Me too, actually. That was really good.
Many things about music.
I'm a giant music nerd.
Yeah, so you don't know what you've stepped into.
Yeah.
Well, send me all your requests and I'll try to do them.
Oh yes.
Will do. So going back to stuff about I think the QL mentioned something about stuff off camera. So is there something that the viewers kind of didn't see, or was Chris just what happened to Chris? He changed his mind about the West Coast. What happened? Can you kind of walk us through that process? Because it felt really sudden.
Okay, so that part, I really wish that I could express and tell you guys what really happened. Unfortunately, I did sign an NDA, so I can't.
Yeah.
That's
fair.
But do know with any relationship, you hear one side of the story, and the show shows you one side of the story, but there's more that happens. Like, and I didn't block that question out for this reason, is just to tell you that there is more to the story. Unfortunately, I can't say what happened, and my NDA is up in 2 years, so
Okay,
maybe
well,
we'll
in
chat
2
again
years,
then. But
mark it on your calendar.
something else happened.
But you know what?
In 2 years, we're gonna chat all the wine.
For sure.
Yes, that will be
Happen.
one good
We're
part.
gonna get deep.
For sure.
I love that.
Yeah. For sure, eh?
For sure.
So I think the sub would have absolutely killed us if we didn't at least attempt to ask that question.
I think so. We posted a thread about all of the questions we wanted to ask you, and I think everybody asked some variation of that question.
Of course.
I mean, like, question for you guys though: is it not so obvious that something else was going on?
Oh yeah,
like I went from being completely in love with a guy. Oh, shut up!
Clearly, something happened off camera.
I went from like infatuated and in love and ready to be engaged to being like, fuck off, I'm leaving. Like, there's this.
Yeah, obviously something happened.
I think we just want that validation, but yeah.
So
I hope that was good though.
Do you feel so going back to kind of edits and how it tells one side of the story, I kind of want to touch on your family and how they were edited. Do you feel that they got like a bad edit or anything like that?
I do. Yeah. I feel like I mean, they were very skeptical of the whole process. They were like, okay, she's going into the show. I went into it being like, guys, don't worry. I'm going to be in for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then he's going to send me home. It's funny. Not a big deal.
LMAO.
Yeah. Really, though. Like, I was like, don't freak out, guys. Like, it's going to be like, I'm going to go in, get a couple cool dresses, go a couple places, and I'll be home. And then for them to see me come back with this guy and like, as they describe it, like I looked like almost like a robot. Like they were like, you didn't look like yourself. You weren't acting like yourself. Like it didn't feel real for them. So they were just being like super protective, and they were asking him questions that were totally valid. Like in real life, my sisters would be part of every step of the process of me dating a guy. Like they would know when I went on my first date, and they would know what I thought about that. And then they would know, how it was going, and they would know that, when we decided to make it exclusive and whatever. And in this process, they were like, okay, so she likes this guy. He's also dating 2 other girls, and she's saying she wants to be engaged to him. Like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times people are really harsh on the families.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, my daughter is only 4.5, and I feel like if this situation happened to me, I would be totally protective and ask a million questions, because that's what you would do.
You would hope, right? Like I watched it being like, fuck yeah. Like the first time I watched it, I was alone in a hotel room, and they let me watch this before obviously it went out into the public. And I was like, fuck yeah, my family asked the right questions. They're funny. They're real. Like this is what everyone should be asking the Bachelor. They should be protective. They shouldn't be like, oh yeah, sure, go ahead, date my wanter. Like, no, fuck no. Like it should be the fucking roster. Like if you're gonna marry her, you should have an answer as to why, and you should know, like obviously be like a question of maybe. So I think in the world they were seen as kind of the villain, but I think in the real world they were seen as heroes. So
yeah,
right,
yeah, like people that I've talked to, obviously that watched the season just because I was on it, were like, your family was spot on. Like they asked the right questions. Obviously it was edited to a degree that, again, I can't really speak to, but more so than I would have liked it to be. But I'm so thankful for the way they did asked, and unfortunately it came across not how they would have liked it to come across, and me as well. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it just showed that they really loved you, to be honest, and that you were a close family.
And we're so close, and they know me so well. And so for them to see me come into their house and like my parents' lake house with this new guy and cameras all around, they were just like, what's going on?
And a bit of an age difference as well. Right?
I mean, I feel like that part doesn't. I mean, it obviously was a bit of an issue, but it doesn't really matter when it comes down to it. It was more, he didn't have an answer as to why he liked me. You know, Sorry, what were you going to say?
Well, and to be honest, you are, to me, as not knowing Chris at all, I felt like you were more mature than him. So age clearly didn't matter.
But he really didn't. He didn't know. He said everybody was beautiful and smart. You know, if you look back on, and it was quite hysterical watching it. I was like, everybody is beautiful and they're smart. And when my dad asked him, like, why do you like Lyndsey? She's like, oh, she's beautiful and she's smart. And my sister's, why do you like Lyndsey? She's like, oh, she's pretty and she's smart.
Oh my gosh.
And same with Katie, and same with Kayla. We're all pretty and smart.
Oh my gosh. So one thing leading off of that is, did it kind of help you? I mean, we already know something happened, so I'm sure, but that still hurts and you still have to process it and get over it. Did watching the show and seeing how kind of maybe disingenuous, I'm not sure if that might be the right word for it, he was, help you kind of process it and get over it a little faster?
Totally. And there's some time in between, right? So like I again can't say the exact dates, but there's time where we film and then there's a time in between where they edit and then there's a time where it airs. And as any breakup goes, like you are hurt in the beginning and then you kind of get over it. Most of the time you don't have to watch it all back with the rest of Canada.
For sure.
But like you got to stop it with the for sure thing.
You're gonna accidentally do it now.
I'm gonna.
No, it's fine. You can do it. I'll do it too. Yeah, no, but it was okay. Like it did help in a way, but at the same time, like I was kind of over it. I was like, I also broke up with him.
True.
So
that's
yeah, I don't know.
A little more emotional leverage there.
It's interesting. I think that you mentioned that like your parents asked the right questions. I can't think of a single bachelor or bachelorette who's been able to go into those hometowns and actually provide a crystal clear answer. So I think that the fact that your parents reacted with such skepticism feels more like just kind of like that everybody else is being kind of weird. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as my sisters like did, they were asking real questions. They were like, "Okay, why do you like Lyndsey?" And it was, "Oh, she's special."
Oh my god.
She's so special.
I feel like
Okay.
in general, if you're dating somebody, that's really not that hard of a question. You know what I mean?
And if you're wanting to marry someone, that's even less of a hard question. You should know exactly why you like them and why they make you feel special or feel, protected or whatever it is. It should be more than just, there's.
Well, maybe that is why he wasn't quite ready for marriage. So.
No, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
Except for that. Well,
yeah.
Except for the fact that he was signed up for The Bachelor, but other than that, it's totally
end is getting married. But yeah, totally cool, totally fine, normal.
Huge.
totally cool. We're all good with it. It's fine.
Huge. So, do you still keep in touch from any of the other girls from the season? Completely changing gears. Hello?
Hi, sorry, you cut out there. What was the question?
Okay. Do you keep in touch with any of the other girls from the season?
From the season?
Yeah.
I keep very close contact with Jessie. She's one of my best friends now. Other than that, that's kind of it. Like I love Katie. I think that she is one of the smartest people I've ever met. And she's so insightful and so spiritual, and she is on another planet. Like she is just figure it out. But yeah, no, Jesse's probably the only person that I actually appreciate and trust and have kept a close contact with.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
I think
I mean, because you're on the same end of the country, do you ever see like other people in Bachelor World in the area, like Jasmine?
I do. I talk to
Heather?
Jasmine every so often. She's awesome. She was really supportive at the end there. See her often. No. I've also only been home for like a month, so
not a lot of time to really lose contact and or keep contact.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But I do think there's probably this slight bond with most of the people, if you were acquaintances with, at least. Like, if you ever see him again, it would be like,
Remember
not
that
weird, it
time
would
we
be
went
like-
on the dating show with like 20 other women?
remember when we did that thing? Or we lived
Absolutely.
together for a while?
Remember when we dated the same guy and lived together? That was
Super
great.
cool.
Let's do that again.
So
Cool.
weird.
Yeah. No, and like I've seen like April, I'm not sure if you guys remember her. She was like on the show. I saw her at a concert, and like I see Stacy every so often. And you're just kind of like bump into them and like, oh hey, remember when we did that thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously. No, who are you
They were
again?
just like, wait, I'm sorry.
Wait, what thing?
Who are you?
So we gotta ask. This is an
Mm.
important question. Brace
Okay.
yourself. What exactly is a luxury travel nomad?
The fuck if I know. I wish I mean I wanted to say something appropriate, but I'm gonna bite my tongue because I feel like I've had too much red wine.
But that's the best time. Just
I know. It's like drink up.
Okay,
Looks like
and
you
what
didn't-
else? No, I
It-
don't. I really don't. I've tried to figure it out. I promise you. I don't know. I do
It
not
feels
know, but I
like-
want to become one.
I know. I was
It
like,
feels
wait,
like
I
I
have
like
to
sign
try.
up.
It feels like luxury travel and nomad kind of conflict
Yeah.
with each other.
It's like they just threw cool words together and they were like, yeah.
Did she
It's-
call herself that, or was it the show that
Sweet.
called her that?
That was all her. Yeah, that was all Kate.
I thought the
I
show
think
like
she's
put a snarky twist on something else, possibly, but they didn't.
I mean, I don't fully know, but I feel like she is just either figured it out and won the luxury of life, or yeah, I don't know. When
Or,
you
yeah.
figure it out, please let me know and I will apply to be it because luxury travel nomad sounds like the dream.
Yes. We'll all apply, I think. We'll start our own luxury travel nomad.
Yeah, can you sign me up, please?
Yeah, no problem.
We'll shill the
Well,
hell
We
out
might
of
need
it.
some
Get it off
funding.
That's what the Instagram shilling is for.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Which is also why we will be the first duo couple to be on The Bachelor / Bachelorette. And we will get these
Oh,
I
guys
literally cannot wait for that. That'll be great.
I will get sent home immediately. He'll be like,
Elon will love us.
the guy will come on and be like, why is there a guy on the show? I'll be like,
Wait, is Elon the Elon for every Bachelor Nation
no.
area? Or is there
He's
a
just there for
separate
support.
Elon?
I think they have different Elons in different countries.
Oh, that's a shame.
I mean,
So,
actually,
we
it's
only
pro-
need one Elon.
It's probably kind of good. Elon kind of skis me out a little bit.
I don't think we've ever heard producers' actual names because it's still relatively new in Canada.
It is.
Weird.
Yeah.
So, did you like your producer?
Yeah.
What
Can you tell us
can
if
you
you
tell
liked
us
your
anything
producer?
about?
Did you have a producer? Are there producers? No, I'm just kidding.
How is the show done? Yeah, I did. I really did. I took a huge liking to one in particular, and I found that she was very real with me. And when I told her what my decision was near the end, she was very supportive. And for the most part, I feel like the producers are there to kind of like guide you through this very weird fucking journey that you've decided to embark upon.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in a way, like I kind of almost ruined the show with my ending. And they had to protect me in a way with the ending and help me through that. But like they did their best at producing it. But they're really good people. Like
Good.
and they're almost they're kind of like your only family and your therapist and your journal at the same time, and they're there for you, and they try to, I mean, obviously get the most out of you and get you to say the juiciest things, but at the same time, like when I told them why and how I was making my decision, they were completely supportive. Yeah, and they saw a lot, obviously more of it than anyone else saw, so they know why and how I made my decision.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like they're really good people.
Oh, good. And I gotta say, I don't feel like you ruined the ending of the show.
Does that answer the question? Sure. What was the question again?
How do you feel about your producer?
Yeah.
I love him.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, no, I love him.
Long-winded, I love him. And I don't think you ruined the show.
I do.
Because I'm pretty sure Chris Harrison would kill for an ending like that.
Oh my
so I
God.
think you're good.
No, I feel
I feel ruined like the end on his own.
Yeah, I would agree with that. We'll call it a reverse Pokemon or a Lyndsey.
It was
Like Lyndsey, I feel like you won this season.
I feel like they were Kayla and I there though. Really, I feel like I fucking lost. But thank you, I appreciate that.
No, it's great.
Looking like, I don't know, like a strong, confident woman, and you were like, "No, I'm out."
I mean, and at the end, I just I looked him in the eye and was like, "Hey, like, I love you. I am absolutely in love with you. If you want to make this work, let's make it work. If you want to, live in Toronto for a couple years and then go to Vancouver for a couple years and figure it out in between, I'm all for it." And he was like, "Oh, well, we could try long distance." And he was just like all over the fucking map, and he just had no idea what he wanted or who he wanted. And at that point, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go and be like dangling my fucking left hand in front of him, being like, "Yo, propose to me," when he is so unsure. Like when you decide to spend the rest of your life with someone, you want them to be choosing you as much as you're choosing them, and you want it to be mutual, and you want it to be an undeniable love. Like you want to know that you guys are a team and a partnership and that you have chosen each other. And it was so prominent at the end there that I was choosing him, but he wasn't choosing me. And at that point I was like, okay, you know what? I need more. Even though he was giving me a lot, he wasn't giving me enough. And I needed more from that. I needed a commitment, and I needed a promise, and I needed love. Like I needed him to look me in the eye and be like, "I love you. I choose you. I love you." And our last conversation, he couldn't even look me in the eye. And he was just like kind of looking all over the place and like, I don't want this moment to end, but and then kissing me on the hand and kind of just like wishy-washy. And I was like, fuck this. At the end, I was kind of hurting too. I was like, I've put so much into this. You have sleepless nights where you're in your hotel room and you're like, okay, am I being absolutely insane? I'm going to, walk up to this man and be like, "Yo, propose to me." And at the end, I was like, I want someone that chooses me. And I didn't feel that from him. So I just made the decision to be like, you know what? He is a great guy. He really, really is. But he was not ready to propose to me or to promise himself to me. So I had to make that decision.
Yeah, it just was
for myself.
Right, and that's good. That's amazing that you did that. So
that was really. It's amazing that I think a lot of people in that situation just kind of try and swallow it, and I think the fact that you stood up and said, "Nope, pass," that was really good.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Really, it takes a lot of courage to do that, especially on national television.
Right.
So the fact that you did it to someone, you actually said it, and you said it on TV, even better.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, and I got a lot of backlash after. A lot of love, but a lot of backlash. But in real life, like when you're ready to spend your life with someone, like you want them to be choosing you as much as you're choosing them.
Right. And in real life, if you would have said to somebody like, they were being weird about it and all this stuff, people wouldn't be like, oh, well, you signed up for this just because you dated someone. So it gets weird.
Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess I'm
But also,
surprised that you got such bad backlash because, I don't know, as a viewer and we like live talk about it on the Bachelor subreddit, everyone was like, oh, go Lyndsey.
Really?
I
tried not to read any of it because like my DMs on Insta were not great. And I was like, oh no. And I feel like a lot
taking time out of my life to DM someone terrible things. Like, how dare you do that on TV?
People are good. Negative people are going to comment 100 times more than positive people will, because positive people are happy with themselves and they're being happy, and negative people want to, be negative and suck into it. So I think that kind of,
That is very true.
It's interesting. I think that the subreddit has, like, if you want to go someplace with positivity for all the contestants, I think the subreddit is in general a good place because the lead gets so much hate every fucking
So basically,
season.
just don't be the lead.
Well, it's partly because
so I will never be the Bachelorette.
no, well, actually, I think that the Bachelorettes tend to get like really good support, but the Bachelors get just shat on like relentlessly. And I know as someone who does it, it's like it's partly the edit. I think the edit. So basically, like in the American one, we had we had one of the contestants on a couple weeks ago, and basically the assertion that both I think that I made and she very much supported was that I think that the guys don't. When the guys let women come to them, they end up looking a little boring, and I think that kind of lack of like trying to reach out to the women puts them in an awkward, just as much an awkward position as the women are put in an awkward position. So they end up kind of like seeming like no personality, and like the women just all trying desperately to impress them, and it comes off kind of douchey.
It's so true.
But if also you compare, like, I don't know, marriage rates compared to the Bachelorette versus the Bachelor, marriages out of the Bachelorette, because I think they just know what they want a little more.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the guys,
women power.
I think a lot of the guys just go on and they're like 30 women, yeah. And then in reality,
but that's like fucking tough, and I don't think they know what they're signing up for.
Oh, for sure, but at the end of the day,
they all say that after they're like, oh.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, like, they all come from the franchise, so it's not like they're like, oh yeah, like totally, like I have no idea what's on here. It's like, that's why you signed up for this.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. You're not signing up for Tinder. You're signing up for the fucking Bachelor.
Well, it's like a very long, drawn-out version of Tinder where you have to reject them to your face instead of just swiping left.
Right, and then all of Canada also having an opinion on it. It's great.
Exactly.
It's the best. So, as someone with those opinions, I love it.
Oh my gosh.
So, I was given to understand that there was a squirrel lady on your show.
Or something.
Wait, have you not watched?
I've seen a video. The Squirrel Whisperer. That.
Wait. Sorry, I'm sorry. You cut out there. You didn't watch the show?
I've watched parts of. I didn't see her with the squirrels. Did you get to see her with the squirrels in real life?
No, I didn't, but I wish I had. She was Lisa. People that you meet. Lisa is her name. And like, she's just interesting. So cool. But yeah, she is an animal. Not even just squirrels. She is an animal whisperer. Like if there were dogs anywhere near set, they would gravitate towards her. Like birds, monkeys, whatever. Like they would be near Lisa. She's an anime character who
Lisa, the Disney princess.
Like animals gravitate. So is a real life Disney
character.
Fucking prince.
Anime impression she was on the show as a result of being
character
like
/ Disney princess.
J-Rock, ask your question again.
On the show based on the fact that she was like got some Instagram notoriety from taming squirrels. Well, they better show her with a squirrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was too cool for the show.
I love how they have one. They have a person like that every season who gets sent home way too early, who's just like, you don't deserve to be on this. You deserve much more than this.
she was too cool. And like a lot of the times, like there'd be conversations between her and Chris, and you were watching them like, no, that probably didn't happen the way it happened on TV, because she was so cool.
Well,
I have a crush on Lisa.
You heard it here first, folks.
So speaking of that, do you think anyone got it? So you've talked to some of the girls. Do you think anyone is like bummed about their edit? Like, did they?
Oh, for sure.
Do you think that someone like you said that Lisa got an edit that did not display who she really was?
No, I mean it did display. Okay, so the thing with The Bachelor that I've found, at least, it takes who you are as a person and they highlight the best and the worst of yourself. So
the best.
Like, I mean, and you get one or the other. So like, if they like you and like you're gonna make it far, you're gonna get the best of your personality shown. And if maybe you're not, I mean, and if you try to fake it, they will catch you and they will highlight that.
Yes.
If you're trying to be something, they're going to be like, fuck no, we know what you're doing. And they're going to highlight that. And you're watching it. People want to see raw emotion. People understand that you're not going to be okay all the time. Like, you're not going to be, like totally confident and totally cool. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Do you watch the American show?
I do, yes, and I haven't watched our season in Australia, and it was really, really hard to get to it. But I do watch it, yes, for the most part.
So basically, I was going to bring up Crystal is someone I think who tried to be someone that she wasn't, and the producers just like, aha,
aha. I have heard too, and like if you try, people, not only producers, but people can see through that shit. Like, you're a human. It's totally cool to not be okay some of the time. And a lot of the girls on my season were trying not to cry. And you're like, why the fuck are you trying? We're in this situation where you're falling in love with this guy. You're living in a house with these women that are also falling in love with this guy. It's okay to cry. It's okay to not be okay. Like, you can fucking break down.
Yeah.
And miss your family.
Too.
They're in it for the fantasy.
Totally. You don't have to be cool all the time. You don't have to have it all together. Like, it's okay to fucking break down and not be okay. That's human, and people relate with that more than they relate with someone that's perfect all the time.
Yep, they'll respond to it way better.
But what if they're in it for the fantasy points? If you cry, then that's like more fantasy points. So like,
oh my gosh.
If you want to skew that.
Really?
You want to yeah. So the Bachelor fantasy point system is very in depth.
I highly doubt that is why, but maybe. Maybe. Internet points.
Fucking A. And I cried
points.
way before they ever showed me cry. And like, I cried, I think, the second episode, but they didn't catch me crying on TV until like the 4th or 5th episode. I was crying all the fucking time. It's hard. It's way harder than it looks.
Oh, I'm sure.
It looks pretty hard. So.
Yeah, it looks pretty fucking hard. So.
So you mentioned you watched the US show.
Yes.
So what differences do you notice between the US show and Bachelor Canada?
Oh goodness. Fuck. I feel like they just travel more than we do.
Yeah.
Dang it.
I'm sorry, I don't have that much. I really should be watching it more.
Yeah.
The only Canadian series that I watched was the one that I was on, and the American one was like a few ones before that. So I feel like they traveled more than we did. I
don't even think they left the country in the first 2 seasons of The Bachelor.
Canada?
The other network used to do it, and I was like, oh.
Oh yeah, so you're really just signing up for like the shittiest thing ever. Like, at least I got to travel.
Oh no, Winnipeg.
Yeah, no.
Go for
I
cold.
should watch more of the US version, but I feel like that's the main thing, is that they traveled more.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's
I
probably,
found
honestly one of the. Oh, sorry. What was that?
I think just because the contestants on The Bachelor kind of don't get like the Instagram fame, and
Right.
it's not the same. So I felt maybe they were a little more genuine.
I think it's kind of like how Bachelor started off in the States, right? Like it was genuine at first because no one knew what would come out of it, really, besides being on TV. So that's probably kind of the territory it's in.
Totally, yeah.
So,
I mean,
yeah.
honestly speaking, too, like I went on the show being like, "Oh, I'm gonna get so many Instagram followers. It's gonna be great." And unfortunately, like I hate to say it, but that's why I went on the show.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I was not going on for the right reasons. I was not going on to fall in love or to, you know, like have a genuine connection with someone.
Audible
But that kind of like the opposite fucking happened to me. Like I was so caught off guard because I was kind of expecting to play the system, and like it bit me in the ass because I ended up liking the guy, and then I ended up being private on Instagram for a long time because I was like, oh my God, like what am I doing? And you question yourself so much once the show is done, and you're like, why did I go on the show? And you know, I did fall in love, so now what am I doing? And it's so self-destructive and so weird, and so it's such a path.
Yeah, but that's really refreshing to hear. So because I think it's way more normal to not go on because you want to find love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like I did not expect to fall in love at all. I was like, fuck no, I'm not. I have control over who I fall in love with and how I fall in love. But I did.
Not how it works.
So if you were giving advice to someone like QO who's going to go on the show,
what? Oh, you're sending me to go on this show. I thought you were sending me off to be on this show.
No,
I was like,
don't go on the show, please.
Okay, advice. I'm here for it.
What would you tell all the QOs of the world who want to be Instagram famous on The Bachelor?
How am I the one suddenly? Okay.
Fuck, it sounds so cliche, but be your fucking self. Like, if you're gonna be goofy, be goofy. If you're gonna be upset in the moment, be upset. And like, the more you're yourself, the more whoever you're in front of, they're gonna fall in love with you. And I think that like trying to be anyone but yourself is just gonna bite you in the ass. And then my thing, like I was, pardon me?
How very Cat Stevens of you.
So Cat Stevens. No, but like the thing is, like, I mean, I feel like it's Bachelor world or real world. Like, do you want someone to fall in love with you so that you get more Instagram followers, or do you want someone to fall in love with you because you want to spend your life with them and have like cool adventures and to have a cool life? Like, I mean, I did it unfortunately for the wrong reasons to begin with, and then kind of fell for the guy, and it honestly kicked me in the ass when I got back home, and I got a lot of an ego kick because I was so obsessed with wanting to be wanted.
Stay tuned for the second half of this podcast, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss out. Also, be sure to follow Lyndsey Gavin on Instagram at Lyndsey Gavin, and check out her awesome blog, lyndseygavin.com. Thanks, guys.